Alright, we should be right here. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure that everyone can catch right up to me. And I should be popping up on your screen soon. And there we go. Alright. Look at that. We are up and we are running. And this is just a great time to say, I'm so happy that you can all join me. I'm so happy. It is Saturday night and I am your Saturday night. And here we are. Here we are for art, for happiness, for good times, for some portrait painting. I'm sure some of you have seen this before. And if you have, welcome back. And if you haven't seen these before, this is your Saturday night where we get together and we do some art and we have a great time. And I do mean it, like a great time. Because we're going to be getting to this portrait that I started last week. So let me talk a little bit first, but... Ooh. Ooh. Dry throat. So I'll start off with a quick descriptor of where we are. We are in my library and studio space where I do almost all of my live streams. We have the canvas in the middle here. We have my wooden palette here. And behind that we have my bookshelf. And then on the other side I have my fencing mask and my closed face helmet. It is a visored helmet. I love it. It's quite heavy, but we have those wonderful things in the background. We've got some books over here on the, what would be, I guess, the right side of your screen. And we have the fencing mask and helmet on the left side of the screen. The canvas roughly in the middle. And the wooden palette. Oh my goodness, here we are. So I'm going to start off before we get going by just talking about the two types of paint I'm going to be using tonight. I'm going to be using a vintage acrylic from Shuttle Art, and then the Cali Art acrylic, which is just a very modern acrylic. They're in these wonderful little plastic tubes, which are just convenient and easy to use. Both of which are available through my Amazon storefront, along with things like the wooden palette and the canvas boards I use. Now, I have the captions on should you need them. They're going to be right there for the rest of the evening. And depending on where you're joining me, there's going to be a link either in chat or in the video description where you can find my website. So get over there, check out my art, my prints, my merch. I have sweaters, I have art bags, I have all sorts of stuff. But we're going to jump right into painting this piece. This piece has already been started last week. If you haven't seen the video, feel free to jump back. You can always go on my YouTube at Your Saturday Night, and you can check everything out there, because all of these videos get streamed there as well. Let me move the palette out of the way. You know, you don't need the palette right in the way. And this is the piece. So when I started this last week, I kind of had a direction I was going, but I realized as I was working at this that I started to replicate kind of an early medieval style. It's hard to describe exactly. Like when I see this, I personally see an early medieval style with some of my abstract leaning as far as art goes. And that abstract leaning is a wonderful thing to me. Got all of my brushes selected for the evening, and every time I grab a brush and use it, I'll try to tell you what brush I am using, as well as what paint I'm using. But again, Cali Art and Shuttle Art are the makers of the two types of acrylic paint I'm going to be using tonight, and they're really good paints. I cannot recommend enough, budget art supplies. They are good in every way, shape, or form. They have a certain feeling, a certain appeal. But let me jump right in. And actually, one of the very first things I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be taking this very small flat brush. Actually, you can see that's a very small flat brush. And I'm going to be using this. I don't know the size offhand for this brush, but I'm going to be taking a little bit of white I'm going to be adding some of that white just in here on a couple spots within the eye. Now we're just going to start adding paint. There's going to be no resting on ceremony today. This is art. This is art time. This is our chance to get creative, to get explorative, to enjoy ourselves. And one of the things I'm actually going to be doing first is I'm going to start to add in what's going to be a reflection on the eye. It's going to start off kind of big. But we're going to be working with this as we go. So right now, just two really big kind of reflections in the eye. And we're going to keep going on those as we go along. But while I have this flat brush in hand, I'm going to use kind of a bit of loose brushwork here. And I'm going to put some of that in the hair, because I want to desaturate a few areas. I've been thinking a lot about like who this person is, what their character is. Part of it was inspired by the fact that I've been taking on a new story recently, and I kind of just wanted to explore different characters while I do that. So more of this loose brushwork. I'm still working on kind of a complete concept for this piece, and these white brush strokes are going to start adding to that later concept. But we have time to explore together, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So let's just get some of this really, really sketchy loose brushwork in here with this white. And that's just to kind of begin to desaturate certain areas. We are going to come back to the white, but while we're in our current state, and just a quick kind of note, you could be joining me on any number of platforms right now, so whether you're joining me on LinkedIn, whether you're joining me on YouTube, or Twitter, or Twitch, say hello in the chat there. Just say hi. You know, we're here for the fun together. Alright, so I'm going to be grabbing with a number 2 round brush. I'm going to be getting some light apricot. Now this is a semi-translucent paint. And one of the things I'm actually going to start doing with that is working down some of my skin tone. In a few different spots. Now, because it's a semi-transparent, it's not going to cover up everything I've already put down completely, which is just, you know, one of the many great reasons to use it. But I need to start kind of building upward on some of my skin tones. And a semi-translucent paint is a great way to do that. And as you can see, it just kind of picks a little bit of detail out. It adds some more color, some more flavor to our final piece. I'm going to be really loose with a lot of these early brush strokes. You know, I'm still kind of building to where we're going to end up. But I don't want to get rid of kind of the obvious visual aesthetic of this being a painted piece. I don't want to lose that. Some people do very clearly, you know, kind of a realistic render when they paint. Some people lean more into cartoonish aspects. I am primarily an abstract artist. If you've ever seen any of my charcoal drawings, though, I can do a really good semi-realism. But that's not, that's not really who I am. I'm an abstract artist, and that's what I'm going to do, is abstract art. Actually, let me qualify that statement. That is sometimes who I am, but when I paint from feeling, and I paint from experience and expression and concept. I don't let myself feel beholden to anything. So you can kind of see like how the pigment lays down here. We're bringing things up and getting kind of a unity to everything, but it's not so much as to get rid of what I've already done. In some spots, I'm going to add more. In other spots, I'm going to add less. And the whole time, I'm going to be enjoying myself. I'm going to be doing some things with perspective here to try to emphasize the angle of the face. But let me take a moment to just say, how is everybody doing? How's your week been? How's your weekend going? How are you feeling? Hopefully you're feeling amazing. Hopefully your weekend is going great. So here's kind of a wonderful way where we can start to build up ridges, shadows, things like that. Which is what I'm trying to do here as best as I can. Now, one of the good parts about using a round brush for this is it gives me a little bit of freedom in how my brush strokes come out. I can use more of the tip, or I can use more of the round itself to begin to create my shapes and my dimensions. I'm sure you can see potentially already how far along just a little bit of brushwork can bring us. And I'm also staying really loose. So sometimes I'm far away and sometimes I'm up close. I'm doing a lot of wrist movement right now, but it's because of what I'm working on. You want to not do too much wrist movement in a lot of painting because you want to save your wrists. Save your wrists. Alright, I'm going to let some of that settle. And as I do, I'm going to get this big old number 8 filbert. And once I have that, I'm going to get a bunch of lemon yellow on it. I'm still being really loose, and I know I put some white in there earlier, but that was all about desaturating. I'm going to start to get this lemon yellow and kind of use these varying strokes, again very loose strokes, to begin putting that into our hair. At least where the hair is. Just getting that in there. I had a lot of concept for how I wanted the hair to end up in the final piece, and I'm still kind of working on that. I've added things like reds and browns and lots of tones into this. My last couple of paintings had very, very dark hair, very dark skin, very deep shadows. And now I kind of want to play on the other end of that. I am going to come through and add more darkness to this because there is multiple tones to hair. Like, naturally speaking, there's so many tones to hair. And I want to be able to play with those, and I want to be able to see those. So now we have a bunch of that lemon yellow on there. And I'm going to grab a green with a flat brush. This is a number 8 flat brush. And one of the things I'm going to be doing here. So I had this kind of gray before. So this down here is kind of like the sleeve of a garment. But I decided I wanted that garment to be kind of a green color. So I'm getting that in here now. I'm going to leave some kind of bumpy spots and everything on there. You know, I'm not going to smooth out all the textures. But now that I've done that with that brush, yep, we are on to part 2. Welcome. Just going to continue building this up. So now that I've used this big flat brush here, I actually have another spot I want to use that green. Once I find the brush I want. Oh my goodness. The brush, the brush, the brush. Yeah, you know, we got to do a part 2. We have to do a continuation. A lot of these paintings, these style paintings, take multiple sessions, especially when you're building up all the details. And there's a lot. Oh, so many details in this. I really enjoy doing these portraits, so we're just going to keep going. So I have that same green that I just used for the sleeve, and very delicately, I'm going to put some of that here in what would be the eye. And I'm not putting it all through the eye, I'm just adding some. That's a highlight, more or less. You know, it's not very visible right now. Just want a little bit more. You know, just start to build up some of the green in the eyes. So we're going to have a very different portrait than last time. But I have some other things to do here. I have a bunch of other things to do here. So one of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this really big number 8 flat brush, and I'm going to get some more of the cobalt. I love multi-parts. I love your painting skills. Your voice is perfect for nation. Well, thank you so very much. You're very kind. You're very kind. I appreciate you being here. I was gonna say like edibly scrumptious, but then like my mind couldn't put together the right sequence for that. So, yeah, delectable. So I'm gonna take some of this phthalo blue, and I just need to put some more of that up in my top corners. And just really kind of overemphasize some of my shadows. I don't want to use a lot of black at all in this piece. I don't want that super harsh color. You know, black is a harsh paint. There's a time and a place for it, and we don't quite have that time yet. Alright, and then I'm going to actually build up some lower corner shadow here, even though we kind of have a design happening. I actually want to artificially produce kind of a vignette. Differ on my cooking skills that is for another show. Don't gonna kill me. All right, so we have that phthalo blue on there for some differentiation, starting to build a vignette. That's the word I was looking for. A vignette on here. And now that I have that, I'm actually going to come and I'm going to get some cobalt blue. So I have cobalt blue. I'm using another very small flat brush here. And so I have kind of something going on here, but I'm going to start to put a thin layer of cobalt blue into these clothing. This clothing. And it's just kind of, again, building up our tone, all of that. Oh, I really enjoy painting. I really do. Makes me happy. So one of the reasons I want to use a small brush for this is I'm trying to add very little of this cobalt blue because I want to be able to see the browns underneath. And I want to kind of match it along with the green sleeve. But I'm going to turn around and then I'm going to age it afterwards. So first things first, I'm going to begin to add the really nice cobalt blue. Oh, I know it. I know it's all in fun. I know. But so, yeah, sometimes you choke on a laugh. Sometimes you just choke on a laugh. What are you going to do? This is a little bit meticulous right here. But before I kind of age the garment, I need to start building up this tone. Alright, and then there's certain areas where I'm going to use more, and certain areas where I'm going to use less. And that's already giving, like, it's dark. Well, it's not darker. What is that? Oh. It's got a little more pop to it now, you know. Just looking at this, I can see where the amber brown was a really nice choice. And what I'll do after this is I'm going to use that amber brown to emphasize the lower layers of the fabric. Or the threads of the fabric in here. But yeah, I mean, really, like, in the week since I started this, I've been looking at this piece, and I couldn't help but imagine early medieval art, probably like the around the 800s, and that kind of later, not later, but still, like this, just this very kind of specific tapestry style that you would see in certain pieces out of France and England in, like, I'd say the 700s and 800s. And part of that was just like, oh, it's there. I didn't intend to do it, but it's right there. It's right there. And with that present, I want to play with some of those ideas, play with some of the contextual and visual impairments. Where are the kitties today? They are napping. I have one napping in a chair nearby, another one napping on the cat tower, and another one is sleeping on the counter. Very naughty, but it's allowed here. Alright, so I have another small little brush here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab amethyst. Now this amethyst is really bright, and one of the things I'm going to be doing, really quick, is I'm going to put a little slight rim. I already had that green in the eyes, and now I'm just putting a little bit of this amethyst over top. Very subtle, very delicate. Like, I don't want to go too hard, but I want the eyes to pop out more, and I kind of want almost a jewel-like quality to them. So that's something I'm going to do. And this amethyst, this is not the final color, but this is going to bring a lot to this piece. Okay, now that you mentioned the cats, one is trying to get into the cupboards because cats can be very naughty. They're being very naughty right now. So with that, with that amethyst there, the eyes are starting to pull out more. Now that I have that there, just a little bit more white because I'm still building these reflections up. But there's just certain spots in the eye that should definitely be more white than others. We're going to knock that down a little bit as we go. Right now there's just like a massive reflection here. Massive. And now that I have that in there, I'm not going to really wait too long. What I want to do is I want to grab some of my burnt umber. So I have this burnt umber. This is really nice and dark. And I'm just going to bring these eyebrows forward a little bit more. Just a little bit, you know. Just pull them out. Pop them a little bit. Pop, pop. Just a little bit. Just it pulls it out more. We're still building up these details, detail areas. And then with my white brush here, it's too much white. I actually just want to pull a little bit of shine onto the lip. Just a little bit. Just a little. I'm not really losing the sort of early medieval style here, but what I am doing is I'm adding a little more contemporary flair to it. And then with that in hand, just a little bit more in here. Again, just desaturating and trying to keep everything together. And this is just really building up some nice highlight sections. And as I move along in the piece, it's also going to keep everything tied together nicely with a similar scheme for lighting and a similar scheme for the shadows and the depth of everything. And as that cobalt blue dries and as that green dries, there's a whole lot here that's really set nicely. I cannot believe that the cat decided to get in the cupboard right now. Like, it's like, oh, I guess now's the time. Now's the time to do that. Alright. So that's starting to pull more of that up. While I have that white in the hand, I'm actually just going to be doing this. Continuing to try to pull those highlights up. You know, it's little bit by bit. Little bit by bit. Giving a little bit of definition there. A little bit, little bit. I'm going to be adding a little bit more red there later. But again, I'm getting this really nice contouring. Alright. I'll move that brush just for a moment. A little bit more of this in here. This is my semi-transparent apricot. It does wonders tying everything together. It also lets me build up little tiny layers as I go. Just emphasizing that depth. Our faces are not like just perfect. Continuous single tones or anything like that. That's something I really want to capture with this, Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be fun? Yeah. And that's the most important part. You gotta have fun when you're doing your art, and you have to have fun when you're just kind of getting into things. And I am definitely having a lot of fun. Art is, I don't know, it's my chill, it's my calm, it's it's not just something that I enjoy doing or that, in a lot of ways, art is, it's my career, but it's a lot more than that. It's so much more than that. It's it's my peace of mind. Well, I am glad to hear it, and I'm glad you're here. No, you need to. We need to enjoy ourselves. We need to enjoy ourselves. All right. So, building that up a little more, and part of this forehead actually should be even more illuminated than it is. Just wonderfully illuminated. I'm not 100% sure. Think she's a bit busy today. But maybe if we're lucky, she'll have some time to pop in. It can always be helpful, right? Actually, that's better. Oh yeah, that looks better. Looks much better. Need a little bit down here. A little bit right there. All right, look at that. Wow. I would be lying if I said that doesn't look better on my screen. It looks much better on my screen. Um, you know what? That's fine. It's fine. Got a number 6 flat brush. A little bit of that amber I was working with before. Just kind of darkening in some of that. Then Just kind of immediately wet brush some blue over that new cobalt. Yeah. I like that, actually. I like how that looks. That was the yellow ochre. That wasn't the amber brown. That's fine. It works. It works. All right. And now I want the smallest amount of phthalo blue I can possibly get on this big flat brush. Because right in here, smallest amount. Actually, I need more than that. Smallest amount. Build some depth in there. A little depth, a little shadow. Just kind of brush that in slowly here. Once I got that on, ooh, so many things to do. All right. Here I come for a very small amount of white again. Work that really in good. There we go. There's some shadow, some highlight. I'm liking the way that's looking. My eyes are mostly dry now. I just need a little bit more white in here. Let that dry up again. I have some details that I need to do around the eyes, but I need to make sure that it's not too... I don't want to muddy up the eyes once the eyes are good. Once they're good. Honestly, I think that I'm getting some really nice eyes here. At least that's my opinion. So I'm going to get some more of that green on a little tiny round brush. I'm not sure what size round brush this is, but I had that green and then the amethyst, and now I'm putting a little bit more green in here. And I just want these to pop the best I can. I really think that's looking nice. That is so nice. Now, I'm going to need a number 6 round brush and a whole lot of burnt umber. I'm just going to begin to lay some of that in here, right around what's going to essentially be, my edges, but also my shadows. I think that looks nice. I think it does. That's my opinion. It's very wet here right now, so I'm going to be able to do this. Sorry, not speaking a whole lot while I lay this in, but I'm really firming up these shadows. Really firming these up. And also, while I'm at it, adding some definition in places that I feel needs it. That's doing marvelous. Wow, I like that. Sometimes you do something and then you just kind of like, oh wow, did I really did I really just make sure that that was okay? I did. Wow. Wow. Dang. I'm getting really happy with this. Like the further I go along, like the more I'm like, wow, yeah, that's working. That really is working. All right. Oh, dang. All right. I can see places that I really need this more, and places that I need it less. But let that sit for a moment. Yeah, I gotta let that dry for a moment. Wow. That actually made an enormous difference. And I am really surprised at how much of a difference that made. We have a lot of tone, a lot of depth, and just so much. So much going on. Wow. Like I'm genuinely really enjoying this. And ooh. Ooh. All right. So we're going to take a couple minutes here because I I went through an hour of painting already. No. I did? Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad that you're here. I cannot believe I've already gone through almost an hour of painting. Whew. That is wild. This is going great. So while this sets for a moment, because I did just add a lot of pigment to it and I want to let it dry, we're getting really far with this, and I'm going to have to start to add and pick some more details back out in the eyes soon, because I don't want to lose anything there. Um, Give your knuckles a break. You know, we're going to have to. But just unbelievably happy about where this is. So just a quick moment, depending on where people are joining me, because I'm live currently on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Uh, that's a good song. That's a good song. There's going to be a description either in the chat or in the description where you can find my website. And I got a bunch of stuff, a bunch of really good stuff that's come out. I have art bags, I have sweaters, I have t-shirts. No, no, not tonight. No, we're not doing that tonight. Oh, another night, definitely. But oh my goodness. So, one of the reasons that I definitely will appreciate anyone who picks up a shirt, but I also have my art prints and my original artworks there. I actually recently just sold a bag, and that made me so happy because those art bags are made with my art printed on the outside. Same thing with the brush bags and the pencil bags. And I have a sketchbook now. So you can have a sketchbook with one of my art pieces, which is actually, and She Was My Queen, which is one of my charcoal pieces, which has been slightly modified and added to a sketchbook. So, if someone wanted to sketch or draw in a Your Saturday Night sketchbook, that's now possible. And that's really cool to me because it's there. But I appreciate everyone. I've been doing a lot of art. Not all of it has been being shared, but it will be. So I've been doing a lot of art. There's obviously the paintings that I've been doing on stream, and then there's the sketches and the portraits and the abstract work that I do, some of which is being shared online, and some of which occurs during my monthly abstract art workshops, which have been so much fun. And next month, no, not next month, this month. This month is the 1 year anniversary of my art workshops. I've been doing the Art of Feeling, an abstract art workshop now for 1 year. So it's just a couple of weeks from now, we're going to have the 1 year anniversary for the workshop. And that's really cool. And I feel very grateful to have been able to do the workshop, to be able to share abstract art with people. And coming up this year, I'm going to be doing more workshops. Abstract, there's still going to be an abstract art workshop, so the art of feeling is going to be continuing and going on, but I'm going to be adding a couple more workshops in, and news about those will be coming out soon, as well as the ability to sign up. So if you go to Eventbrite, you can actually follow me there too. You can follow me on Eventbrite, and Eventbrite has been amazing, and digital workshops have been so much fun. And I have cool things, like I have a PDF guide about abstract art that goes along with the workshop, as well as the ability to watch the workshop after completion, because I share those in email. I send the video out to everybody who was there. So you have the ability to watch it again. And there's a bunch of other stuff. So it's a whole lot of fun. Do consider supporting in some way, shape, or form. Whatever way that is, however you want to do it. I'm going to be happy if you're there. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead, and there's a couple things I want to do. So the hair is really super bright. So what I want to do really quick is I want to take some of my yellow ochre. This is yellow ochre. I'm going to put that right here on this number 8 filbert. Oh, and I forgot to mention it, so I'm just going to mention it while I'm doing that. So I'm just going to add some more tone in here. So, I have still been writing, so I do still have stories coming out. Now, there's all of my novels and short stories that were already available, but now I have more stories available. So if you go on Kindle Vella, you can actually find my stories now on Kindle Vella, because I've been releasing a couple of different stories there. And I've been really enjoying that. But I'm going to have a new story coming out soon, and that's just really exciting for me. While I get this yellow ochre on here. So yeah, I'm going to have a new story coming out soon, and I will be sharing lots more information about that as well. I'll tell you what, between writing stories, writing books, doing workshops, making art, doing the website, I am so very busy sometimes. But, I appreciate the ability to share all of this and to really just have that feeling of, wow, I get to share all of this. Like, it feels really cool to sit there and think about. Like, I'm doing this? No. Am I? So it's a whole lot of fun. It's really cool. I feel really grateful to have readers, to have people in my workshops, to have the opportunity to even do things like that. To have the live stream. Like, woof. There's moments where I can't believe how, not just how lucky I am, but like how much has happened. Just in the last year, how much has happened. Now we're really starting to pick up on this. There we go. I need a little bit of this amber brown. So one of the things that I'm doing right now, I'm continuing to use the same brush as I jump between my pigments, but I'm really trying to blend all of this through. Actually, I think this blending is going really good. But yeah, like, I'm astounded at the response to the workshops, at the response to the art, at the response to everything. There we go. Like, this is just good. That's something I gotta fix. Oh, just a little bit. Not a lot. Just a little. Oh, yeah. I will have to push that back more. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's too late I started. We're going to need a different brush. That was too wet. It was too wet. Yeah, there's some stuff to fix there. And we will. So, well, I know that it's there. There we go. That's already starting to make a big difference. Yep. More to fix, but we're good. We're good. So just really quickly, I'm going to get some of my raw umber with a number 4 brush here. sometimes it's, it's just the little things. The right brush, the right tool that make all the difference. And just start adding that depth. There's a really good possibility that, I don't know, maybe this will get done tonight, maybe? But I'm not committing to that statement. Not committing to it. There's a lot of really hard shadows. A lot of really subtle shadowing. So while I have this little angle brush in hand, one of the things I'm going to do here start to pick out those eye details. Whew. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. It does not take a lot to really start to increase the tone. Add a little bit of weight to the lids. A little bit. Takes so little. But it's not just about adding weight to the lids, it's also about continuing to build that depth. Depth, 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 depth. Depth, depth, depth. Which I think we have a lot of going on here. Now, this in hand again. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yep. So there's a couple details I see here that I need to pick out. Make sure I'm grabbing the right brush. Alright, and then wow. I shouldn't be, but I am still continuously just like, I can't believe I still spots. There's still spots. And oh my goodness, that looks awesome. Alrighty. Now, another chance to use my raw umber way up here. One of the things I want to do is make sure that I'm not just making everything seem really hard-edged. Yes, I may be done with her tonight. You know, we have 15 minutes. And I just might be finished soon. At least with this piece. Which I think is happening. I'm seeing the signs. You know, I'm seeing the places where, to me, personally, I'm seeing what looks like it may be a completed piece soon. As I continuously refine certain areas and aspects. You know, and once I get done with this one, and it's on to the next. It's on to the next. Art is ever moving, ever forward. Cat knows what I'm talking about. He's back there meowing. You know, he hears it. He hears the signs. I mean, we've had some really good stuff happen here tonight. And I've added some dimension and some really nice variation. Is there stuff that I still would like to do? Oh, yeah. No, but I have to be realistic. I can't stay on one piece forever. No matter what I'd like to do. It's not the most viable approach. So when it's done, it's done. We have some really nice highlights. And we have some really good effects that have happened. Just some overall interesting applications of paint. Like that one right there. That's nice. I like that. In a painting, I actually think this is one of my best um, best creations of hair that I think I've done in a painting. Well, thank you so much for that. Sometimes I don't always trust what I do, but then it's like, no, you gotta see it through to the end. We're not done yet. Let's see what happens. And when you let yourself see what's going to happen, you do better work than just being like, oh no. Oh, yeah. So, like, looking in my screen is really helpful when I do this because I can kind of see, like, what's visible outside of my artwork, and that's just nice. It's very nice. Okay. That hair um, really came out good. Like, that came out better than I thought it would. My little tiny brush here. It's immensely better. All right. So, finish this off. So there's definitely some mixed fabric there, mixed thread count. Okay. Far more lacy sleeve now, or at least brighter colored fabric. I like it, I like it, but what is it? Get some of that, get some of that, get some of that. There we go, alright. There we go. Bring some of the green back out. Then just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of this, because it makes such wonderful shadows. And end off with one kind of voila. Oh, we are so close. So close. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Is that really bright? It does. It does. Voila. All right. It's gonna look a little bit different. Words. It's gonna look a little bit different once it's dry. But voila. This is our painting, and you know this. It. I think it came out really nice. I actually feel really nice about this one. I need to give a name to this piece. Um, because it kind of has that sort of medieval style to it, I kind of want Catherine. No, 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 no. That's that's too much. Not Catherine. No, actually, we're gonna go with Catherine. So we're gonna call this piece Catherine. Um, I feel really good about it. I think it came out really nice. There's a lot of nice variation. I think the hair came out really good. It's got a lot of depth. It's got a lot of character. Is it my best piece? Of course not. But you know what it is? It's a piece that I enjoyed making. And that, right there, is 100% the most important part. I was thinking Catherine, second spelling, but like I was thinking because it kind of sounds a little bit regal, but at the same time kind of sounds a little bit old fashioned. Uh, so I thought like there was a couple of Queen Catherines, so that works. I remember a couple of Catherines in literature, so that's where I'm going with this. Um, Catherine. We got a little bit of shine to the lips. We got a little bit of shine to the eyes. We got all this tone variation to the hair. We have multi-dimensional fabric, and there's supposed to be kind of a hand moving through the hair. It's really obscured, so it's kind of hard to see. You can sort of see where a couple fingers are, but it's partially obscured by both the hair and the perspective. It came out really good. I'm incredibly happy with how this ended up. We are absolutely done with this piece. This is going to be added to the website, and I'm just going to throw that up before we get going in chat here. But depending on where you're joining me, my website will be available in either the description or the chat, depending on where you are. So take care, be excellent. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all again soon. All right? All right. Uh, yes, absolutely. Because otherwise, we're going to have a different experience, you know, and it won't be the same. It won't be the same at all. All right. Take care, everybody, and I will see you next week.